Hello, everybody. This is Lorena from Human Wellbeing, and thank you for being here with me today. So this is my second video talking about COVID-19 recovery, and this video in particular is gonna give you at the end, so please stay with me till the end, some business ideas but directed to human well-being, so that we think a little bit outside the box and we do think of new things that were needed even before COVID, that are needed now during COVID, and will be needed after COVID. But that we stop thinking on the model of just things or producing things, and that there are services like addressing our human well-being. So stay with me at the end, and we're going to go through that. But I want to walk you through my thought process, and that is going to give you even more ideas. So the very first thing I think is that we need to realize the sense of urgency of getting out of COVID as soon as possible. Now, it is true that, this is a virus. We're not going to be able to eradicate it or fully control it unless there is a vaccine. So we do have to always collaborate with the protocols that we're asked to follow, so that we keep it at bay and we create a stability. Now, as I have said in other videos, that doesn't mean that we cannot find alternate solutions and be accountable and feel responsible to help to find other means of creating wealth. So thankfully now we have all this technology, all the internet and computers and digital marketing, and there's so many things we can do while still respecting COVID-19 protocols. So that's where I'm going. So stay with me till the end and we'll get to that. So first of all is this sense of urgency. We have to realize the sense of urgency of getting out of COVID. So what do I mean with this? In Canada, the Canadian government put in place very early at the beginning of the pandemic, very generous financial relief measures for businesses and individuals. So that has helped to keep a very stable situation. So we although there has been many job losses and there has been many businesses that close from one day to the next, or there has been the bigger businesses have seen their revenues slashed. Despite that, this stimulus has allowed to have certain stability. But that help cannot continue forever. The government, Canada, is getting in debt. But that means that each Canadian is seeing its wealth decrease. Because that's what is happening. If the government is giving this money, it's because it's getting in debt, and if that means that Canada is getting in debt, which means that later on Canadians are going to have to pay for that. So our wealth overall is getting diluted. So it's important that we realize that. Now, for many, this help was not enough. So in addition of this help from the government, people had to use up their savings, or had to max out their lines of credit, or had to make use of this programs the banks had, in which you could defer your mortgage payments or your lines of credit. But again, once you have used up your savings, you have maxed out your lines of credit, and the banks stop allowing to defer mortgage payments, then that is it. Right? So that is the sense of urgency. We have to stop thinking that, we're for those that are receiving money, that is just going to keep coming, that it's until the situation is solved. So we have to stand up and contribute as much as we can to solve this, to get the machine running, to create wealth. Okay, so that is the sense of urgency. Now, the other side is that I think that the businesses we have to create now, it's not in producing things. I honestly think that is already saturated. We have much more than what we need. In every sense, for material things, we have much more than what we need. So we have to get away from that model. So let me go a little bit further into this. So since the since the Industrial Revolution 200 years ago in England, maybe a little bit less than 200 years, but anyways, a lot of time ago, it has been the same model. We have put all our eggs in the same basket. We have bet on the same model for so long now. And now, so that model works, and because it's a continuous race, that the Industrial Revolution is a continuous race for producing en masse, to continuously produce each unit at a lower cost by improving technology, by decreasing waste, by getting things, therefore the globalization, like having things produced in countries that are cheaper, like many strategies so that the unit cost of producing something, it's lower. So that is the premise there. That is the model. Now, so that it keeps working, there has to be an increased demand for whatever is being produced. So in part it's solved because the people on Earth, the number of people on Earth has exploded for those 200 years. So there you have already an increase in demand. But also is that we are constantly bombarded with ads that we need this. So you need to change your wardrobe every 3 months, and you need the latest car, and you need the latest cell phone, and you need all sorts of food choices. So to have you full your pantry and full your fridge, right? And we have all fallen for it in more or less degrees, right? But we are all here. We're all at some degree responsible for that model. Now, what we don't maybe take the time to reflect on is that there is a negative correlation between what it's produced, the level of wealth and the level of the mass production that happens against the environment. Because think of it. Everything we buy either is made of plastic, is made of wood, it's made of paper, it's made of glass, it's made of fabric, it's food. So at the end of the day, everything we buy, all the raw materials come from nature. So every time we buy something, it is like you're eating up the environment. That's really what is happening. Although they don't tell us that. They tell us, oh, you need this next pair of jeans, and you need, right? They're constantly bombarding us with what the next thing we need. What is sad is that we don't take the time to reflect on it, because we don't really need that many things. Now, one thing is true. I mean, we're humans. We're still going to need food. We're still going to need clothing. We're still going to need cars. We're still going to, but not at the pace we're consuming them now. Not in the number we're consuming them now. So that's my point. Now we have to, every time there is a financial crisis or a war or now COVID, it's an opportunity to rethink how we do things. And it's an opportunity now to shift many of those businesses that were about just selling things to now let's move let's look for more opportunities that are targeted to human well-being. Okay, so now comes my my ideas, some of my business ideas for human well-being. So now let's say this humongous shopping malls we have, right? And there's hundreds and hundreds of stores there. And I would say 90% of the stores there are either clothing, shoes, accessories, electronics, beauty products, fast food. I would say that is the 90%. So they're all things. They're all, and we don't need that many, right? We already agreed on that. So, and now due to COVID, there's many empty spaces in the same malls. And many of those businesses are not going to be able to come back and open those stores. So why don't we use those spaces? And here an idea. What about a children drop-in? And that was needed again before COVID, during COVID, after COVID. So during COVID, we still can respect the protocol of having a few children at a time, but still would cover the costs. Later, after COVID, it would become a lot more profitable. But for now, at least, we have things running, right? So imagine a drop-in. I mean, how many parents are out there that you say, my God, I would like that on a Saturday afternoon I could go and watch a movie. But what do I do with my children? There you go, the children drop in. And at the shopping mall, where you can go for a coffee, you can go do your nails, you can do your hair, you can go watch a movie, or you can just stroll around, right? So there you go. And you're not producing anything. You're creating a source of revenue. You're not producing things, and you're providing a service that is going to bring some relief to somebody, like for their human well-being, right? Okay, so there's one idea. Another idea. I'm originally from Mexico. I have 16 years in Canada now, so quite some time. But it sometimes surprises me how cold we are in Canada. I mean, in terms of personality. And so I still miss that in Mexico you go to a restaurant and they receive you with a smile, or the waitress engages in a conversation with you, or comes visit your table often and takes a look. Hey, how are you doing? Did you like it? Would you like something more? Was it good? It's a different degree of care, a different degree of human experience. So white restaurants cannot do that. So white restaurants don't think of offering that added human experience to eating at a place. That would be nice. That would be nice. Another idea. What about a coffee place? That, yeah, you do have good coffee and you do have good, I don't know, cakes or snacks or whatever it is. But in addition to that, maybe that place is not run by a normal coffee place manager, but by a sociologist out of university, or a psychologist. Or maybe it's run in conjunction with a research department from the university. And the purpose of this place is to have a different approach with people and make an ambience so that people engage easier in conversations, even with strangers. Wouldn't that be nice? Another idea, let me think. Again, a little bit variation of this coffee shop thing. What if it is you create different activities that people can gather and do, so they have a reason to get out of their house and go somewhere to do something. And again, still respecting the COVID protocol, still you would have small groups. And maybe for now it's not as profitable, but after COVID it would be a boom. So let's say you create a website, or you just ask the people that visit you, what kind of activities would you like the most? Chess, playing cards, crafts, maybe a book club, maybe photography, maybe I don't know. I mean, it's all about your own interests as the owner of the place, plus what your customers would like. And you could do a market research as to what could kind of work, but wouldn't be that nice. And again, you're still having a coffee place or kind of a restaurant with snacks or something. So you're still selling that. But in addition to that, you're offering an added service, and you're contributing that people feel happy to go somewhere to do something and not to buy more things. Okay, so I have given you some ideas. Oh, I just thought of another one. And this is a mix between human well-being and material things. However, the human well-being has a lot more weight. So now with COVID, it accelerated the process of working from home. And now we have this need of having a permanent space that is designated for work. So before COVID, because we were often going somewhere to work, maybe we just had a desk with a computer to do our personal stuff, but now we need a bigger space, and maybe we even need a room where we can close the door, and we can have our video calls, and we can concentrate, or people or kids can be running around while we're working, and we're going to be fine. But then for that, so that we don't need to go and buy a bigger home, a bigger house, then we would have to make more efficient use of our current space. So now it's like the tiny houses videos, right? The tiny houses programs that I will love to watch, and maybe having multi-purpose furniture, or a complete different perception, a different concept of design, and for home decoration and all this, to be able to make better use of the space and create that designated space for an office. So my God, there's so many ideas. I think we just have to switch to a different model. So there you go. Those are my 2 cents for today, and see you next time.